Hello and welcome to Today in History. My name is Sotonye Afiasima. If you're a returning visitor or a subscriber, welcome back to my channel. If you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. So let's get cracking, let's get started. We will have to go back a long time into the past. So the year is 996. So 996 of our common era. On this day, the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III granted the Bavarian bishopric of Freising 30 royal heights, so 30 royal heights, or about 8 square kilometers, which is 2,000 acres of land, in a deed that contained the first recorded use of the name Ostarrîchi. As you can see from this coin that was minted to commemorate 1,000 years of Ostarrîchi, which the name Austria is derived from. So the country Austria essentially was birthed on this day in 996 CE. So 996 of our common era. So there we go. That's history for you on this day. Happened in the year 996. So we move on to the year 1512. So 516 years later, on this day, Michelangelo's The Creation, pictured here, was opened to the public for the first time. It forms part of the Sistine Chapel's ceiling, painted circa 1508 to 1512. It illustrates the biblical creation narrative from the book of Genesis, in which God gives life to Adam, the first man, for the first time. The general public was able to view Michelangelo's fresco on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican Palace. The artwork is among the greatest achievements in Western painting. So Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam was open to the public on this day in 1512. It took about 4 years to paint. So history again for you. 1512 was the year. Michelangelo's The Creation was the fresco, the artwork painted on this day 508 years ago. Let's move on to the year 1755. So, believe it or not, there was an earthquake in Lisbon, or Lisboa as the Portuguese would call it. So Lisbon was heavily damaged by an earthquake that demolished more than 9,000 buildings and killed as many as 30,000 people. So this is news to me. I didn't realize that Lisbon was earthquake prone. So that's history as it happened today in 1755 in Lisbon, Portugal. 1765, so 10 years later, on this day, the Stamp Act. So this is a publication to commemorate that day, turning point in history. The Stamp Act went into effect on this day, marking the first British parliamentary attempt to raise revenue through direct taxation of all American colonial, commercial, and legal papers. So 1765, the Stamp Act. It's self-explanatory here from this picture. Okay, 1910, on this day, W.E.B. Du Bois. I have talked about him in one of my videos, so go check it out. If I can find it, as usual, I'll place a link right here, right now. So W.E.B. Du Bois, the French would pronounce it Du Bois. I think I did mention this in my other video about him as well. You know, I googled up the correct pronunciation, the American pronunciation. Americans call it Du Bois, so we'll go with the American pronunciation. So he began the publication, the NAACP monthly magazine called Crisis, which is pictured right here. So Crisis was first published on this day in 1910. So NAACP simply stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So this was essentially a magazine for African Americans. Okie dokie. We move on now to the next thing of note today. And believe it or not, another magazine. This time also another African magazine, Ebony. First issue of Ebony magazine was published by John H. Johnson on this day. So that's the cover, front cover of the first issue of Ebony magazine. Full name John Harold Johnson, born January 19th, 1918. He died on the 8th of August 2005. He was an American businessman and publisher. Johnson was the founder of the Johnson Publishing Company, which is headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Johnson's Ebony, 1945, just like I mentioned, and Jet from 1951 to 2014. The magazines that were among the most influential African-American business magazines, or they influenced African-American businesses in media, beginning in the second half of the 20th century. In 1982, Johnson became the first African-American to appear on the Forbes 400. Interesting. In 1987, Johnson was named Black Enterprise Entrepreneur of the Year. So this is the first issue of Ebony. Next, I'm going to show you a picture of what Mr. Johnson used to look like on the cover of this magazine, obviously. This was celebrating his life. That's clearly stated here. And then last but not least, would you believe, November's issue of Ebony featuring my man Tyler Perry, inspirational man who has inspired millions and millions of people worldwide. So we're celebrating Ebony's 75th anniversary today. This is one of my favorite magazines as well of all time. I used to read this in my early 20s, you know. Whenever I got on the train from Manchester, from Wigan to London, I'd stop at, where was it now, this train station? Euston train station, yes. Used to have a magazine stand. I don't know if it's still there. I've not been there for a while. Pick up my Ebony magazine, you know, and then come back home. Yeah, those were the days. But the last time I checked, I didn't see any Ebony magazine in, I think it's W.H. Smith at some Euston station in London. Anyway, guys, if you're from London, you live in London, you know what I'm talking about, you know. Drop me a line if Ebony still exists in Euston Station. That's the only place I can find in the country, unfortunately. This is the UK, it's not America. Right, let's move on to the next event of note today. Tim Cook. Happy birthday, Tim Cook. He was born on this day in 1960. So Tim Cook is 60 today. 1 month younger than Nigeria. Nigeria had independence exactly a month ago. For those of you who know the NSAS protests that have rocked the country for some weeks now, it's beginning to, abate a bit. But I think the problems of the country need to be solved. But back to Tim Cook. Happy birthday, Tim Cook. I'm going to read a bit about Tim Cook. I'm sure you guys know who he is. If not, there's a logo there beside him which would give you an indication who he is. His full name is Timothy Donald Cook. He was born, obviously, on this day. He's an American business executive, philanthropist, and industrial engineer. Cook is the Chief Executive Officer or CEO of Apple Incorporated and previously served as the company's Chief Operating Officer or COO under its co-founder, Steve Jobs. So that is Tim Cook for you, the Apple's CEO. Happy birthday, Tim Cook, who turned 60 today. 1973. This lady, don't think she needs an introduction. Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. Born on this day, she is 47 today. Absolute stunner. She's an Indian actress and the winner of Miss World 1994. So at the age of 21, she won the Miss World pageant. Through her successful acting career, she has established herself as one of the most popular and influential celebrities in India. Rai has achieved or received numerous accolades, including 2 Filmfare Awards, and was honored with the Padma Shri by the government of India in 2009 and the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres by the government of France in 2012. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She has often been cited in the media as the most beautiful woman in the world. So that's Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, or Bachchan. I hope I got that right. Well, more popularly known as Aishwarya Rai. I guess Bachchan is her husband's name. Because guys, she is taken, unfortunately. You know, so happy birthday, happy 47th birthday. It's amazing how time flies. Beautiful woman, the world's most beautiful woman, 1994 Miss World, as you can see right here. Turns 47 today. This was 26 years ago. Still looking as gorgeous as ever. We move on to the year 1981 and Antigua and Barbuda. These are the people of Antigua and Barbuda. This is the day that they achieved independence from the United Kingdom, with Bird serving as the first prime minister. So more pictures of this beautiful island. First of all, her flag, people, 1 or 2 scantily clad women there. I'm sure some of you won't mind. Kids here celebrating their country's independence, and pictures of beautiful Antigua and Barbuda, or Barbuda. Absolutely gorgeous. Now look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Guys, so we wish our brothers and sisters from Antigua and Barbuda a happy Independence Day. Last but not least, on this day in the year 1994, this contraption here, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, launched its Wind spacecraft. So the contraption is called the Wind spacecraft. It was launched on a mission that would include a halo orbit between the Sun and the Earth to explore the space environment there. On that note, guys, we have come to another edition of Today in History. My name again is Sotoni Afiesimama. Thank you for dropping by, and I hope to see you tomorrow, November 2nd, for another edition of Today in History. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the notification bell so I receive updates of my video uploads. Like this video as well if you like it. Share as well so that, it helps with my algorithm. Thanks again, guys. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.